Dear student, now I will discuss about a new chapter, that is your D block element. What is the D block element? The element whose last electron enters into the d orbitals of penultimate's main energy level are called D block element. Suppose I will take an example, scandium. Scandium having atomic number 21. Electronic configuration of scandium is your argon 18, 3d1, 4s 2. Suppose this is your nucleus, this is your K cell, this is your L cell, this is your M cell, this is your N cell. 4s belongs to N cell, 3d belongs to M cell. Here 4s is the valency cell, but the electron goes to the d orbital which belongs to the M cell. Here N cell is the valence cell, M cell is the penultimate cell, L cell is the anti-penultimate cell. M cell is your penultimate cell, L cell is your anti-penultimate cell. That means before the valence cell, the cell is called penultimate cell, and before the penultimate cell, the cell is called anti-penultimate cell. So D block elements are the element whose last electron enter into the d orbitals of the penultimate energy level. D block element also called transition element. Also it is called transition metal. D block element are those in which n-1 d orbital is incomplete. Second point is your simple ions contain 1 to 9 electron. D block element are those elements in which n-1 d orbital is incomplete and simple ions contain 1 to 9 electron. If you think about the element, that is your zinc, cadmium, mercury, these three elements do not have incomplete d orbital. However, these three elements obey the properties of D block elements. So these elements are included in the D block element. The D block elements are called transition element because the property of D block element lie in between the properties of S block elements and P block element. The electron of the D block element gradually filled in the inner d orbital. Next I will explain about the classification of D block elements. D block elements are classified into 4 series. First is your first transition series. Second is your second transition series. Third is your third transition series. Fourth is your fourth transition series. The first transition series also called 3D series. The second transition series also called 4D series. Third transition series called also 5D series. Fourth transition series also called 6D series. The first transition series belongs to the fourth period. The second transition series belongs to the fifth period. The third transition belongs to the sixth period. The fourth transition belongs to the seventh period. The first transition series contains 10 elements which starts from scandium to zinc. The second transition element also contains 10 elements which starts from yttrium to cadmium. The third transition contains elements lanthanum and also hafnium to mercury. The fourth transition series contains actinium and also starts from rutherfordium to unibium. In case of first transition series, the last electron of the elements goes to the 3d orbital, so the elements are also called 3d series. On the other hand, in case of second transition series, the last electron of the element goes to the 4d orbital, so the second transition series also called 4d series. On the other hand, in case of third transition series, the last electron of the element goes to the 5d orbital, so the third transition series is also called 5d series. On the other hand, in case of fourth transition series, the last electron enters into the 6d orbital, so fourth transition series also called 6d series. The general electronic configuration of first transition series is your argon 18, 3d 1 to 10, 4s 1 to 2. In case of second transition series, the general electronic configuration is your krypton 36, 4d 1 to 10, 5s 1 to 2. In case of third transition series, the general electron configuration is your xenon 54, 5d 1 to 10, 4f 14, 6s 1 to 2. In case of fourth transition series, the general electronic configuration is your radon 86, 6d 1 to 10, 5f 14, 7s 1 to 2. These are the general electronic configuration of different series. Now I will explain about the electronic configuration of first transition series elements. The elements present in the first transition series are scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, ferrium, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. We know that the general electronic configuration of first transition series element is your argon 18, 3d 1 to 10, 4s 1 to 2. The atomic number of scandium is your 21, titanium is your 22, vanadium is your 23, chromium is your 24, manganese is your 25, iron is your 26, cobalt is your 27, nickel is your 28, copper is your 29, zinc is your 30. The electron configuration of scandium is your argon 18, 3d1, 4s2, titanium is your argon 18, 3d2, 4s2. Similarly, vanadium is your argon 18, 3d3, 4s2. Similarly, the electronic configuration of chromium is your argon 18, 3d 5, 4s1. Actually, the electronic configuration of chromium is your 3d 4, 4s2. To maintain extra stability, one of the electron of s orbital shifted to the 3d orbital. So we can write the electronic configuration of chromium is your argon 18, 3d5, 4s1. Like that, the electronic configuration of manganese is your argon 18, 3d5, 4s2. Next is your iron. The electronic configuration of iron is your argon 18 3d6 4s2. The electronic configuration of cobalt is your argon 18 3d7 4s2. The electronic configuration of nickel is your argon 18 3d8 4s2. Similarly, the electronic configuration of copper is your argon 18 3d10 4s1. Actually, the electronic configuration of copper is your 3d9 4s2. Here also, to maintain the extra stability, one of the electron shifted to the 3d orbital like chromium. So we can write the electronic configuration of copper is your argon 18 3d10 4s1. Finally, the electronic configuration of zinc is your argon 18 3d10 4s2. These are the electronic configuration of different elements present in the first transition series. Next, I will explain about the occurrence of transition metal atom. Basically, we generally think about the first transition element, scandium, generally found in rare earth compound and uranium. Similarly, titanium found in ilmenite, vanadium found in vanadite, chromium found in chromite. Similarly, cobalt found in smalactite, lignite. These are the occurrence of different transition element. Similarly, the other element of first transition element are manganese, ferrium, nickel, copper, zinc. These elements are generally found in their ore form. I will teach you the list of ore in the metallurgy chapter. This is all about the occurrence of first transition element. Now I will explain about the characteristics of D block elements. What are the characteristics of D block elements? First point is your all the D block elements are metal. Second point is your all the D block elements are solid, but mercury is present in the liquid state. This is an exceptional case. All the D block elements are hard, rigid and brittle. All the D block element generally shows paramagnetic character. All the D block elements are good conductor of electricity. All the D block elements are more electropositive and having moderate reducing character. The density of D block element is higher than the density of group 1 and group 2 elements. Because we know that density is equal to mass by volume, we know that from left to right of a periodic table, the atomic radii goes on decreases. If the atomic radii goes on decreases, obviously the atomic volume decreases. Look at that, your density and volume are indirect proportional to each other. If volume decreases, then density increases. So the density of D block element is higher than the density of group 1 and group 2 element, because group 1 and 2 elements are present before the transition element. D block element shows variable oxidation state. D block element can form alloy. D block element can form interstitial compound. D block element also can form colored compound. These are the different characteristics of D block elements. Next I will explain about the general characteristics of D block elements. At first I will discuss about the atomic radii and ionic radii. Generally, the atomic radii and ionic radii goes on decreases from left to right of a periodic table. This is due to the increase in the effective nuclear charge. That means, if I will move left to right of a periodic table, then the effective nuclear charge increases. Due to this, the atomic radii and ionic radii also decreases. But in case of D block element, this decrease is very small. This is due to the shielding effect, or it is also called screening effect. It is also called atomic shielding. Suppose I will take example scandium and titanium. Scandium having electronic configuration 3d1 4s2, titanium having electronic configuration 3d2 4s2. Suppose this is the nucleus of scandium, this is your K cell, this is your L cell, this is your M cell, this is your N cell. 4s orbital present in the N cell, 3d orbital present in the M cell. Similarly, suppose this is your nucleus of titanium, this is your K cell, this is your L cell, this is your M cell, this is your N cell. 4s orbital present in the N cell, 3d orbital present in the M cell. Suppose I will think about the vanadium like that. I can also draw, this is your nucleus, this is your K cell, this is your L cell, this is your M cell, this is your N cell. The electronic configuration of vanadium is 3d 3 4s2. Look at that, there is an increasing in the electron density in the 3d orbital from scandium to titanium, then vanadium, then we can also think about the other element present in the first transition series. But the atomic radii or ionic radii depends upon the valency cell. In case of other block element, there is no such type of problem created in the inner cell. In this case, 3d orbital create a problem to the 4s orbital because the effective nuclear charge completely do not effect to the 4s orbital. There is a forbidden created by the 3d orbital due to the increasing in the electron density in the 3d orbital. This is called shielding effect. That's why the atomic radii and ionic radii decreases no doubt from left to right of a transition series, but this decrease is very small. If you think about the copper and nickel, copper having electronic configuration 3d 10 4s1, nickel having electronic configuration 3d 8 4s2. According to the concept, the atomic radii of nickel is greater than copper, but in this case copper having the more atomic radii as compared to nickel. This is due to the inter-electronic repulsion in 3d orbital. That means in case of copper there is more inter-electronic repulsion create in 3d orbital. That's why copper having more atomic radii as compared to the nickel. The ionic radii of different transition metal ion having different oxidation state. Next general characteristics is your melting points and boiling points. The melting point and boiling point of the transition element goes on increases from that element which contain 5 unpaired electron, then decreases. This is due to the more covalent bond formation in that element which contain 5 unpaired electron. That means if an element have tendency to form more covalent bond, then that type of element having high melting point and boiling point. If an element having more tendency to form the covalent bond, then in this type of element the atoms closer with each other. As a result, more amount of heat is necessary to boil and melt the element. That's why transition element having high melting point and boiling point. If we will think about the element like zinc, cadmium, mercury, in this type of element there is no unpaired electron to form the covalent bond. That's why these elements having low melting and boiling point as compared to the other elements. Next characteristics is your density. We know that density D is equal to mass by volume. In case of a transition series, the atomic radii goes on decreases from left to right. That's why the atomic volume also goes and decreases from left to right. Look at that here, density is inversely proportional to the atomic volume. If the volume decreases, then the density increases. As a result, the density of the transition element goes on increases from left to right of a transition series. Next is your ionization energy. We know that the atomic radii goes and decreases from left to right of a transition series. As a result, the ionization energy goes on increases from left to right of a transition series. But this increase is not in regular manner because it depends upon also the screening effect. The screening effect also do not show a regular trend in case of a transition series. But if you will think about the zinc, cadmium, mercury, these elements shows high ionization energy. This is due to the stable electronic configuration of zinc, cadmium and mercury. If you will think about the second ionization energy of chromium and copper, then the second ionization energy of chromium and copper is relatively higher than the second ionization energy of other element. Because if you think about the second ionization energy of chromium and copper, then the second ionization energy related to the removal of the second electron from half filled and full filled orbital of chromium and copper respectively. Look at that, chromium having electronic configuration 3D 5 4s1, copper having electronic configuration 3D 10 4s1. If I will think about the first ionization energy of chromium and copper, then the ionization energy related to the 4s electron. But if I will think about the second ionization energy, then the second ionization energy related to the removal of the electron from 3D orbital. In case of chromium, look at that, this 3D orbital is half filled. In case of copper, look at that, this 3D orbital is full filled. We know that more amount of ionization energy is needed to remove an electron from half filled orbital and full filled orbital. In case of chromium, the 3D orbital is your half filled. On the other hand, in case of copper, the 3D orbital is your full filled. Next I will discuss about the metallic character. All the D block elements are metal. The D block elements are also hard, rigid, brittle like a metal. Greater the number of unpaired electron, more is the metallic character. This is due to the more is the strength of metallic bond. We know that chromium having 5 unpaired electron, so chromium shows high metallic character. Next is your variable oxidation state. The D block element shows variable oxidation state. The oxidation state of D block element increases and reaches at a maximum oxidation state, then decreases. In 3D series, manganese having highest oxidation state. The oxidation state of manganese are +2, +3, +4, +5, +6, +7. The common oxidation state for 3D series is your +2. This is due to the removal of 2 electrons from 4s orbital. Remember an important point: in lower oxidation state, the D block element generally form ionic compound. Generally, the lower oxidation state means +2 and +3. The transition element also shows zero oxidation state in the compound like NiCO4, FeCO5, etc. The variation of oxidation state of transition element is due to involving of Ns and N-1d electron in bond formation. Lower oxidation state shows by the transition element due to the participate of Ns electron in the bond formation. On the other hand, higher oxidation state shows by the transition element due to the involvement of N-1d electron. Next characteristics is your formation of colored compound. Most of the transition elements are colored in solid or solution form. The color of the metal ion is due to the presence of unpaired electron. The unpaired electron absorb the radiation from white light and it excited to the higher state from lower state. When the electron comes from higher to lower state, then that electron loses energy. This energy lost in the form of light, which is responsible for the color of a complex compound. This is called TD transition. That means the complex compound shows color due to DD transition. Due to DD electronic transition, the colored light is transmitted, which is complementary to the absorbed light. Red and green are complementary color to each other. Next is your blue and orange color are complementary to each other. Violet and yellow color are complementary to each other. Remember some important point: the pairs of species in which the metal ions have same number of unpaired electron have same color. Remember an important point, the color of the transition metal compound is due to DT transition. Next is your formation of complex compound. Transition metals generally form the complex compound due to number one is your small size of cation, number two is your due to vacant d orbital. Next point is your transition metal have high nuclear charge. Due to these three causes, transition metal can form the complex compound. Next, I will explain about the magnetic character. The d block elements are generally paramagnetic in nature. This is due to the presence of unpaired electron, and these elements are attracted by the magnetic field. The magnetic momentum mu can be measured by this formula, mu equal to root over of n into n plus 2 bm, where n is the number of unpaired electron. Scandium 3 plus, zinc 2 plus are diamagnetic in nature and they are strongly repelled by the magnetic field. Ferrum, cobalt, nickel are ferromagnetic in nature. They are strongly attracted by the magnetic field. Next is your catalytic activity. Most of the d block elements are generally used as a catalyst in many chemical reactions. The catalytic activity of d block element is due to number one is your variable oxidation state, number two is your larger surface area. Due to variable oxidation state of the d block element, they have a capable to form the unstable intermediate compound. We know that larger is the surface area, more is the adsorption. The d block element having larger surface area, so in case of d block element, more adsorption will be possible. That's why the d block element shows the catalytic activity property. Next is your formation of interstitial compounds. All the transition element can form interstitial compound. The small elements like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen can be entrapped in the crystal lattice of the metal to form the interstitial compound. For example, titanium hydride, iron hydride, etc. These are the interstitial compound which can be formed by transition metal atom and with a small element like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen. These compounds are also called non-stoichiometric compound. The transition element have more tendency to form the covalent bond due to presence of unpaired electron. That's why these small elements entrapped into the crystal lattice of the transition element and form more covalent bond with the transition element. That's why the transition element have more tendency to form the interstitial compound. Due to this, the tensile strength goes on increases while the malleability and ductility of the metal goes on decreases. Next is your formation of alloys. The transition element can form different types of alloy. They can form both intermetallic alloy and also can form the interstitial alloy. We know that the transition elements having nearly same size, that's why they can substituted with each other to form the intermetallic alloy. The small element can entrapped into the crystal lattice of the transition element to form the interstitial alloy like stainless steel. Next is your formation of halides. The transition element when heated with halogen, then they can form the halides. Generally, the transition element do not form halide at room temperature because of their high activation energy. The fluoride of transition elements are ionic in nature. On the other hand, chlorides, bromides and iodides of transition elements are predominantly covalent. Transition element can form halides in their higher oxidation state, but these type of halides are highly unstable. Next I will explain about the formation of oxides. When the transition metal heated with the oxygen, then the transition metal can form different types of oxide with different oxidation state. The oxides of transition metals are generally acidic, basic and amphoteric in nature. The oxides in which the transition metal atom having lower oxidation state are generally acidic in nature. For example, MnO, Mn2O3. Look at that. In this compound, the manganese having oxidation state +2. In this compound, the manganese having oxidation state +3. These are the lower oxidation state of manganese, and these compounds are acidic in nature. Similarly, the oxides of transition metal in which the transition metal shows intermediate oxidation state, such type of oxides generally amphoteric in nature. For example, MnO2. In this compound, the oxidation state of manganese is +4 and the compound is an amphoteric substance. In this compound, the oxidation state of manganese is +4. This is an intermediate oxidation state of manganese. Similarly, the oxides of transition metal in which the transition metal shows higher oxidation state are generally basic in nature. For example, Mn2O7. In this compound, the oxidation state of manganese is +7 and this compound is basic in nature. This is all about the D block element.